It's really important to connect into nature and listen to the sounds that we have been gifted by nature. And that can bring a sense of peace within. It really allows us to connect back into what is our ancestry. We have an amazing series by Peace, who talks about plugging back into nature. And that is what this episode is about. We can go into nature with our tuning forks. We can sit under a tree and we can become the tree. We can blend with the energy of the roots of the tree, which connects to the roots of the next tree, which connects to the roots of the next tree. And we can become so much part of that one single beautiful being of energy. Hundreds of years old, some of these trees. They have witnessed so much. And just by sitting with our backs to the trunk, using our tuning forks on ourselves, you actually feel the tree give you a hug, let alone you give the tree a hug. It puts another completely different spin on the term tree hugger. It's such a beautiful, beautiful experience. We always ask the tree first, and you will get an answer. The answer will come in your heart, yes or no. What we do with the tuning forks when we're sat under the tree is, again, we start to listen. And as we start to listen, you begin to hear the rustle of the leaves as your mind is completely quiet and devoid of thoughts. And all you hear is the sound, the gentle sound of the tuning fork and the rustling of the trees, or the creaking of the branches. The grass, you can actually start to hear the grass around you or the leaves around you. You become part of that ecosystem. The other thing which I particularly enjoy is I have my back to the tree and I use the weighted arm on my thymus. So this is the higher heart. So even though it has a function of being good for the immune system, it's also the higher heart. So as my back is to the tree, I stem my thymus gland, and it's almost like you can almost feel the heartbeat of the tree with your heartbeat. And the ground just starts to vibrate. Your feet start to fizz. It's the most beautiful, beautiful feeling. It enhances your experience of being with these beautiful beings. And then you just put the fork down, the tuning fork down to the side, and you enjoy listening to all the other sounds around you, the birds, the rustlings of the leaves, the creaks of the trees, everything that is around you is heightened because you have completely stilled your mind. In the morning, you can imagine if you do your, what I call your clear cleanse balance using the tuning forks, and then you decide to go out into nature. So you don't even take the tuning forks with you at this point. You are now the human tuning fork. And as you walk along the path, you get a sense of being part of the whole forest. You are every single footstep that you take. You are light walking. Every footstep that you take is starting to heal the planet, to bring up the vibration, because you've worked with your own energy system. So you are now a vibrating myriad of wonderment. So you walk through the woods and every footstep kisses the ground, kisses Mother Earth, and great healing is occurring with you and with Mother Earth. When you become in tune with nature, when you plug back in to what is primordial for us as human beings, you get a real sense of awareness. So you can look up at the leaves on the trees, and they are moving in such a way, they're shimmering, and there's no breeze. There's reflections in the leaves, and there's no sunshine. So what you have is this, you become part of the ecological system of the forest. So we are born and we go back to dust. So we become nature when we are no longer a physical human being. We go back to the ground and we become that. Yet whilst we're alive, whilst we're here, we can have a really joyful, happy life. One of my favourite places to take the tuning forks beside the woods is the beach. And I will sit on the sand or the rocks or the pebbles, and I use my tuning forks on myself, and I set my intent that the energy flow coming from me and my thought waves go into the ocean or the sea. And I set my intent that all that live and dwell beneath feel that energy and are healed. I also set my intent that man appreciates the magnificence of our oceans and in turn treats it with respect and treats it accordingly, so that we have a very, very good ecosystem within the seas and the oceans. And sometimes I'll actually take my tuning forks. If it's warm enough, I'll go and actually stand in the sea with the tuning fork and strike the tuning fork and put the end in the water. And in my mind's eye, I see the ripples going out and out and out to the millions and millions and millions and millions of litres of water all over our planet. Every stream, every river leads to the sea. So if we can't get to the sea, we can find a stream or a river somewhere, and we can sit next to it. We can use the sounds, we can use our intent to allow the vibrations of the energies to just drift through down the stream to come to the mighty seas and the oceans. So everything starts with something simple. A leaf. Sometimes you will see a leaf on a beach and there's no trees, and that leaf will have started from a tree in the stream or a river, and it's travelled miles and miles and miles to get to the ocean. We can work also with the tuning forks with the push and the pull of the moon. So the moon energy, the cycle is every 29 days. We have full moon, we have new moon. We can sit in the moon energy outside. We can work with the tuning forks. We can then lay on the ground and let the moonbeams bathe us. It's such a beautiful experience as you cleanse crystals in the moonbeams. You can also cleanse yourself in the moonbeams. And you can also do that with the sound. So sound and moon, beautiful match made in heaven. It can also help when we have solar flares, solar influences from the sun, because that can actually make the energy of our planet a little bit more jagged. It can be quite intense when we have a solar flare. So with the tuning forks and the vibrations of the tuning forks, we can allow our energy field to become softer and less prickly. And what we have in our system is the Schumann's resonance is at 7.83 hertz. Now, that has been shown over the last years, however many years, to change. Now, what we have is that Schumann's resonance is creeping up to 120, 130, and that is also known as the pulse of the earth. It's actually the heartbeat of the earth. So what we are seeing is almost the earth is speeding up. And what we need to do is allow ourselves to feel the calm and not speed up with it. Otherwise, we will all be walking around and creating very, very fast lives for ourselves. And using sound therapy, sound healing, you can bring it back to where we started, when we were just a being of love and a being of light. As we can heal the planet through our intent, through sound therapy, through our actions and our practices, we can actually heal plants using the tuning forks. We can heal water using the tuning forks. So what we have is a combination of watering the plants. So on a practical level, what we would do is we would take the tuning fork and the water, and we would stem the glass. You are creating frequency charged water of the Om and or the 528. And then you can give that to your plant. You can drink it yourself. So you can actually charge water yourself and drink it. And it completely changes the taste of the water. It's much smoother. So back to the plant. You have the water, you stem the water glass, you pour that water into the plant. So now the plant is sucking up sacred water from the frequency that you've given to it. You can also stem the pot or the ground that the plant is in. And we did an experiment, and somebody had two plants the same. One plant they gave 528 water to, and the other they didn't. So one had sound, one didn't have sound. And what they found is the one with sound grew more than it did than the plant that didn't have sound. They were in different rooms. So that was extraordinary. It's like the experiment that Dr. Emoto did with rice. So he had 2 jars of rice, one with love and one with hate. And that's all they had. The actual word was on the jar. And the love rice stayed vibrant and nutty smelling and healthy. And the hate rice was black and mouldy. So it shows that what we are, what we think we are. So sound, vibration, energy medicine, all of these things, we can get to that place in our mindset of love and peace and happiness and joy. And then we are creating a beautiful utopia here on earth now. I've been really thrilled to share this journey of introducing tuning fork sound therapy to you. How to use tuning forks, what tuning forks actually are, how we can work with our energy centers, our chakras, our auric field, how we can go out into nature, how we can work with other modalities, working with other species, animals, for optimum health and well-being. I hope you've enjoyed the series.